So I got a couple news stories here that I thought were pretty interesting and I wanted to talk a little bit about. The first being the whole Fortnite crossplay, cross progression thing that happened over the last, 2 days now? And the fact that State of Decay 2 won't have microtransactions. I think that's pretty interesting. But let's talk about Fortnite first, shall we? What is going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. And if you're interested in Darwin Project, which just released on Xbox One Game Preview and Steam Early Access, I just posted my impressions of the game in my last video. So make sure you guys check that out. But yeah, a lot of people were super excited because Epic announced that Fortnite was going mobile for iOS and Android. And in their original announcement, they had this quote that kind of set the internet ablaze and kind of started the whole crossplay war between Sony and Microsoft. It reads, "In our partnership with our friends at Sony, Fortnite Battle Royale will support crossplay and cross-progression between PlayStation 4, PC, Mac, iOS, and eventually Android. This means players across devices can squad up with friends and play together. We believe this is the future of games, the same games on all the platforms, console quality graphics and action, blah, 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 blah," right? So Fortnite, biggest game in the world right now, dominating Twitch, dominating YouTube. It's basically come to dominate the Battle Royale genre that kind of, started with PUBG's rise. Now, PUBG's kind of on the decline, but the whole, in the partnership with our friends at Sony, got a lot of people curious. There was a lot of back and forth about what that actually meant. Did Sony pay Epic Games to leave out Microsoft? A lot of people assume that this was just a business deal, as business is business, and Sony would want to get, in bed with the biggest current thing in gaming, because having cross-play and cross-progression for Fortnite would be very beneficial to the PlayStation platform, especially when it's going to feature coming to iOS and Android. People theorize that if Sony dropped money for some sort of deal, that, Fortnite would become the place to play on PlayStation, right? Not necessarily on Xbox. So a lot of people were wondering, whoa, what is going on? Microsoft, you have to step up your game. But then there was other people, myself included, kind of was thinking along the lines of, well, maybe this is an Xbox Live thing. Maybe the Epic accounts don't work right or don't interact right with Xbox Live in a certain way. I've seen people have issues with the Epic accounts on Xbox as well as PlayStation. I didn't necessarily think it was a deal that Sony made with Epic because Fortnite is a free-to-play game. That's how it's become so popular, along with the fact that they update it constantly with new features, new weapons, new cosmetics, and things like that. But the main draw is that it's free-to-play, and they want to go crossplay, and they talked about this at the VGAs. They thought, this is going to be the future of gaming, and a couple times, accidentally, there was the PS4 versus Xbox crossplay that they have initiated. Of course, they always end up turning it off. So some people were losing their minds. People were blaming Microsoft, saying, how could you not make this deal? People were praising Sony, being like, this is good business acumen. Of course, you want to align your shelf with Fortnite. But then the very next day, we get an article from The Verge saying that Microsoft suggests Fortnite PS4 versus Xbox One crossplay could happen, right? And it goes on to say the Xbox One was suspiciously absent from the list I just read, but Microsoft has confirmed to The Verge that it's working with Xbox games to enable this in the future. And the Microsoft representative said, "We've been working closely with the team at Epic Games for some time to bring this functionality to all current and future versions of Fortnite, and expect it to be available on Xbox along with other platforms. Microsoft has long been a leading voice in encouraging the adoption of cross-platform play and the potential of connecting players across PC, mobile, and all consoles." So it's like, whoo, okay, so it is coming, but when is it coming? And I love the fact that Microsoft's saying they've been a long-term leading voice on this. One, that's not necessarily true. It's only really been the last couple years where Microsoft has really kind of adopted the mantle of, we want crossplay. We would love for all of our users to play against each other, whether it's on Nintendo Switch or PC or PlayStation. I mean, the fact of the matter is, during the 360 era, when the 360 was dominating, Microsoft didn't want crossplay, period. And games wanted it. Like, there were some games back then that did want it, but Microsoft was very adamant that they didn't need it. And why would they? I mean, they were, you could argue, the market leader at that point in time, despite the Wii having sold the most. They felt it didn't benefit their business. Very similar to how Sony feels right now. Sony is clearly the market leader, and they see no benefit to their business line of helping Xbox in any way, shape, or form, or Nintendo, so they don't want crossplay, period. And Microsoft felt that way during the 360. Obviously, times change, positions flip, new leadership gets installed at Xbox versus previous one, and ideas and policies change. And because of that, now you have the crossplay stuff with Xbox and Nintendo and PC, which, quite frankly, if it was last gen and maybe if the previous leadership was still in, would probably never happen. So you have that. And then literally today, Epic Games puts out a new blog piece saying that Xbox cross-platform play is indeed coming to Fortnite. And they said they're happy to announce today that in partnership with our friends at Microsoft, Fortnite will feature cross-play, cross-progression, and cross-purchase between Xbox One, PC, Mac, iOS, and Android. And of course, they go to reiterate, contrary to what's been implied, that Microsoft has been a long leading voice in supporting crossplay against all that stuff. So, I guess huge issue diverted. Fortnite is basically cross-platform, cross-play everywhere except, of course, Xbox 2, PS4. I wonder if Fortnite will eventually come to the Switch, because you figure it has to come to the Switch at some point. I mean, they are having an iOS and Android game, and the Switch is currently on fire. Why not port a version of that game to Switch and be able to take Fortnite on the go, similar to the mobile phones? And at that point, I could see Fortnite, I could see Xbox and Nintendo crossplay with all those versions, just like how Rocket League currently you can play with Nintendo Switch users and Xbox users and PC users, and later this year, the Minecraft, because in Minecraft, you should be able to play with all the consoles. Well, Nintendo. Sony obviously wants nothing to do with it. So crisis averted. Fortnite is having crossplay, cross progression, and cross purchase. Now that's interesting with those three crosses there, so to speak. Crossplay, cross progression, and cross purchase with Xbox. Whereas in the original announcement back on the 8th, a couple days ago, it was only crossplay and cross progression. Now, I don't know if they forgot to put in cross-buy, but is definitely a difference between the language here. They got the same two, but cross-purchase is here. So does that make the Xbox version of Fortnite more attractive? I don't know. I mean, usually you'd want to go where your friends are. If more of your friends are on Xbox, you'll play it there. If more of your friends are on PlayStation, you play it there. But the idea of, like, you take your singular character on Xbox and you can use them on the PC, but then also use them on, the iOS and the Android, and actually have all the things that you purchase, whether it's the battle passes and all that stuff, actually come along with you, I would imagine is pretty appealing to a lot of people, considering Fortnite, like I said earlier, is the biggest game in the world and is only getting bigger. So that's the news about Fortnite. Hope everybody's happy about that, and how Epic Games was pretty quick to put it out there that no, it is coming to Xbox as well. But the other kind of thing I wanted to talk about really quickly, as Fortnite was the main topic for this discussion, was State of Decay 2 is not going to have any microtransactions, and the developers confirmed this in a recent Twitch segment when they were talking about the gameplay. They're only going to sell paid expansions down the road. Now, this is interesting because when Microsoft originally announced Xbox Game Pass back in January, that all the Xbox first-party games would be going into day and date, people were like, how's Microsoft going to make any money? And everybody assumed that they would make the money by selling people microtransactions. So like State of Decay 2, for example, people assumed would have loot boxes in a zombie survival horror game, that Sea of Thieves was going to have loot boxes, and it would be very much in your face because they would have to make up the revenue in that way from not selling as many full price $60 or $30 retailer editions, right? But of course, since then, Sea of Thieves says they won't have any loot boxes ever. All the expansions to the game are free, and the only thing they're going to sell are cosmetic stuff well after launch, like 5 months after launch, 7 months after launch, and the first thing they're going to sell is pets, but they haven't given a price. Now you have State of Decay 2, the second game coming to Game Pass from the first party, and they're saying they won't have microtransactions. They're not going to have any sort of loot boxes. And the only thing they're going to have is actually paid expansions that actually build out the game itself. So a lot of maybe people's fears about Xbox Game Pass basically pushing the loot box agenda into your face have maybe been relieved or unfounded. Of course, you might have Star Wars Battlefront 2 to thank for that because, because of the controversy, the anger around what they did, maybe it's changed a lot of these developers' minds about not wanting to follow in Star Wars Battlefront's 2 footsteps. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. I hope you found it useful or entertaining. Either way, if you did, make sure you hit that like button, share this out on social media, hit the subscribe button so you always know when I drop a new video. Same thing with the notification bell because you'll get emailed. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next video. Later.